Can I just say I'm very excited about the number of mid-range budget action, crime world, heist movies we've been getting the last few years. So let's talk about the latest one. Baby Driver is the latest film from Edgar Wright, and it tells the story of Baby, a heist driver who has a good heart, has found love, and wants to get out of the crime world. But when he tries to do one final job, he's gonna find himself in the ride of his life. Now, the plot of this movie is kind of like the plot of a whole lot of these heist movie, crime world movies, assassin type movies where the guy that's our protagonist wants to get out and has to do one final job because he's found love or something like that. Very, very common template for this type of movie, but it's all about the execution, it's all about the characters, and it's all about the performances. And here we've got a very nice version of this type of story, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. With all that said, let's talk about the good. Right off the bat, the movie's kind of central thing that makes the story work, where it's a very familiar story that's been done many times, not very well. What makes it work here is very much the style of the film, and it's all based around music. The whole movie is essentially cut to the soundtrack of the movie, and that ties into the plot of it, where our character Baby has a ringing in his ear from a childhood incident, so he always is listening to music to drown out the buzzing and the humming in his ear, and the movie's cut to that, and we kind of hear the world from his perspective, kind of, and the movie is cut somewhat from his perspective to the beat of the music, and this makes for a very stylized, fun version of this type of story. And along the same lines, the way that this plays out with his character and how he incorporates music just into all of his life gives a little bit of fun beat to, literal fun beat to it, because he's always tapping his feet, and I'm kind of someone that, myself, I kind of like tap my fingers and stuff. I have a lot of weird quirks. I have a lot of bouncing leg syndrome and stuff like that. And so, like, during the movie, I was finding myself, like, making beats along with the music, which is what the character was doing in the movie, which is kind of fun to see happen. Along the same lines, there's a great cast of characters here with Kevin Spacey and John Bernthal and John Hamm. So many different people that all kind of bring some fun to it. They're all lively characters, and that's what makes this one work. You enjoy all of them, and Jamie Foxx in it is as well. Well, you don't like him so much, but because it's Jamie Foxx, he's still charismatic and likable. And that's kind of what pulls this movie together, is that just you like spending time with all these people. You like all the scenarios. You like the romantic chemistry between the two leads. You like the uncomfortable tension in the heist scenarios where, Baby's chilling in the background, but everyone else is pretty aggressive. And so there's just a constant tension throughout the movie with these characters. And all of that makes for just a very enjoyable, this type of movie. It pulls the right emotions out of you in each given scenario. If it's supposed to be tense, you feel the tension with these awkward not awkward characters, but awkward situations from these characters just kind of pulling at each other to test the situation and some kind of a death wish. All of it kind of works. And none of them, or some of them are a little bit one-dimensional, but that makes sense in the world that they're in. And some of them that you think are one-dimensional aren't. They have layers and different sides to them, and you can understand who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. And it might take you a while to fully get all the dimensions to them, but you get there eventually with the characters. With all that said, let's kind of move on to the bad. And there's nothing really I would say is a bad per se, but I could see how this movie, the style of it with kind of the incorporation of music and the way, Baby's just kind of like moving to the music throughout it, and there's some of their scenes are like long, cool shots that can kind of come off like he's dancing in a music video or something like that. And you'll either love that about it, or you'll probably be like, this is a bit much. Now, I say you will either do one or the other. I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't in love with it. I could see where they're going, and I kind of like the fun of it, so I got wrapped up into it, but it's not like I was kind of like, I'm not quite there. I can see where you're going. I can see why someone would like this. I'm not quite there with you. I wouldn't say that necessarily is a negative. It's just when certain types of choices you make either draw people in, or they're kind of like, I'm not quite so sure about that. And I'm much more I'm not quite so sure about that with some of those types of elements, kind of with him dancing around at different parts in the movie. Beyond that, like I said, the story to it is fairly common, and it plays out pretty well the way you're expecting it to play out. from the trailer, from as soon as the movie sets up, you can see pretty well where this movie is headed. Story-wise, pretty predictable. Style to it, a lot of fun. The cast, a lot of fun. All around, a fun movie with a familiar plot. I had a good time with this movie. I can see myself enjoying it again. And if you like the trailer for this movie, you're gonna like it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And if I'm being honest, this is a movie, once again, as I said at the intro, I hope a lot of people go see this. This is an original story with a fun, unique style. This is the type of movie I want people to go see so we get more of these movies. The mid-range budget where there's a director that has a vision for telling a type of story in a fun, unique way. That's what this is. It delivers what it's supposed to. I enjoyed it a great deal. I bet you will too. I can't wait to show it to my wife. I think she's going to like it quite a bit. And so that's the type of movie this is. I think most people like it. It's rated R, but it's like very light rated R. There's a couple of F-bombs in there that you could cut them out and you probably would have a PG-13 movie. There's a couple of violent, like a couple of 5 seconds of violence in it. And even to the artist's vision of it, that this is a very light rated R movie that they could have brought it down to PG-13, but they went all out R, and I respect that about the movie as well. Anyway, that's my take on it, an 8 out of 10 one. I really hope you go and see. A couple elements might be a little bit divisive with some audiences. How about you? What did you think about it? Tell me down in the comment section down below. I'd love to have some chat about it. We'll see what you guys think. Coming up in just a couple days, I'm going to rank all the Edgar Wright movies. Should be out Saturday. I got to rewatch a couple of them just to make sure my list is nice and fresh and true to who I am. But that's coming in just a couple days. And if you're watching this later in the future, it's already out and you can go check that out. With all that said, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, some TV reviews. I do ranking videos every single weekend. But all in all, I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me in the comment section. I do read all those. I try to respond to all those and I would love to talk with you. So thank you for watching.